Okay.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. This is Job Search Q&A. So twist, last minute, I have a surprise guest, Paula. Paula's also a career coach, and we've never met, but we've been interacting with each other's posts and supporting one another. So anyway, she tagged somebody in to join this live session today. So I was like, hey, why don't you join with me so we can answer as many questions as you guys may have. So surprise guests, sometimes this stuff happens where last minute there might be somebody joining me. So guys, take full advantage. You're two career coaches, two different backgrounds. Also, you get to hear two different perspectives. I don't think it gets better than this. So let me first allow Paula to introduce herself, her background. This is the second time Paula's been a part of my guest. First, it was when we did the career coaches and recruiters roundtable, and today's just a surprise. So Paula, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Paula Cowan. I'm a career coach, or the title I use, I'm career transition strategist.
Okay.
So I'm the person you come to when you hate your job, when you know that you can't do what you're currently doing anymore, but maybe don't know your next direction, or you simply want to jump ship from your current location. So one of my ideal clients would be people who have maybe enjoyed their work from home time a little too much and enjoyed being away from their coworkers and realized, don't send me back, or I need to do something else. I started my career in human resources and recruiting. And then my second career, I was a behavior therapist for autistic children. So that's all about pattern spotting and getting to the root of the problem. And I continue to do that with my clients now, where I realized it was something I was kind of already doing in my everyday life, which is why I went to the field. And
you know, I thought I remembered that you also have an HR background. So I was going to say two career coaches from HR backgrounds. Okay, it's a confirmation. Both of ours are HR expertise. We do come from HR backgrounds. So I don't think this gets any better than having two professionals that are HR expertise, also come from the background, also recruitment background, and also career coaches. Obviously, I don't really work. I help a little bit with transition, but this is great. I've had few people come on these Q&As and ask about transition. So what is your, like, I know I've asked you this before too, but what would be like the top 3 or even top 2 or even 1 tip for individuals that want to transition? Because there's always that, like your resume obviously won't be able to, like, I think if you're applying online, you're always going to have that barrier with ATS, and applicant tracking systems are not designed to read resumes and transferable skills. They're just going to pick up what you tell it to pick up. So when you are coaching people, I know there's a lot of people that want to transition. So what's your go-to top 3 tips, advice when you're looking to transition? What would be the best, like, what's one of the first things you should do?
Well, you have to talk to people who have already done what you're trying to do. I mean, and don't take advice from anyone who hasn't done that type of a transition. So, I mean, as part of client homework, I mean, I will tell my clients, fine, look at the profiles of people who have maybe also come from obscure backgrounds, either similar to or maybe diversely different from your own. But I mean, people are changing careers all the time. So I mean, there is still kind of a rigidity with some recruiters or some people that are just have only ever had corporate jobs. It's like, no, you fit here and you can never go anywhere else. But there's a lot more flexibility now. And so you deal with the people that have the flexible thinking and just figure out where they are. And then you also don't rely on, say, the Indeed job boards. It's what percentage of what percentage of jobs are unadvertised? I mean, even before social media, you find the back door. So you figure out who you need to be talking to, and a lot of the well, you know, for HR background, most people who write job descriptions really have no idea what they're doing. So there's a lot more flexibility there than people would think. And if they've already talked to you face to face, it's like, no, that's not important. We don't need that. You're qualified. So
I always say, I've been saying this for months now, that your best bet is hidden job market. 80% of jobs are not advertised. And I remember writing this post, I think it was last year, was it this year? I don't remember. But I remember writing a post where I got a lot of backlash from recruiters and some HR, where I said, bypass HR, bypass recruiters.
yeah.
We're not decision makers. We're not decision makers unless we're hiring for our own department. I have never made a hiring decision. My input's valuable, but I'm not the one that's making the final call on who gets hired. The hiring manager does. If I'm the hiring manager, yes, I get to make that call, but that's only if I'm hiring for my department, which is HR. But if I'm not hiring for HR, I'm hiring for every other department, I'm not the decision maker.
You're not the one that has to work with them. So yeah.
No, I can't make that call. I would never make that call for my hiring managers who they should hire. But yeah, as an HR professional consultant, it's my job to help them navigate and help them come to the right decision. And even with the job description, job analysis, making sure that, you know, sometimes hiring managers, we all, you know this too, sometimes they want the moon and star. Sometimes they're reactive instead of being proactive. And when they're being reactive, they're not thinking long term. So not even thinking what the role can be. It's probably just right now I need this, right? So hence, I've seen where hiring managers have a candidate staring at them, and then something clicks to them like, wait a minute, I don't need this candidate here, but there are such skills I can use it here, because here's where we're lacking. Sometimes that they're so busy that they don't have time to really think.
Else I can help with?
Sorry. Technology. And I've seen where managers, like they've been so go that they can't think of what they needed, but they don't have time to like really do the digging analysis and craft out a job description and then do the hiring. That, you know, they keep putting things in the backseat until a candidate, I've had this happen a few times, until a candidate's staring at them and it's like, you know what, I can really use this person. I'll create a job for them because I can use them here. So I've seen that happen. Hence why I keep saying to everybody, you know, 80% of your job search focus should be in the hidden job market. It isn't just about networking. A lot of people don't even know how to network.
That's a whole other.
Yeah, and it's when people talk about hidden job market, it's always networking. Okay, how many of you guys actually know how to network? You don't network because you're looking for a job. By the way, you should be yeah, because I feel you come across as desperate and you're approaching everything from that desperation because you need something. Hence why you're reaching out to them. I don't even like the word networking because no one knows how to network. I never knew how to network at all either.
Oh no.
And I always found it very uncomfortable. And I think networking events are the worst place to network.
Well, it really depends. I remember 20 years ago, well, over 20 years ago now, when I left university, the good networking advice at the time, if you can believe it, was something you'd hear for salespeople now. So I remember that they would tell us, like basically act like a salesperson and navigate the event. You should go home with like 50 business cards. The only time that's ever happened to me at an event was when I was at an actual speed networking event and I lost my voice at the end of it. So that was the quid pro quo for the stack of business cards I got.
But okay, so let's talk about this advice, because some people are still giving this advice to a lot of people. And okay, you got the 50 stack of debt, but how many of those 50 business cards do you actually remember?
You don't know. It's
exactly
that's a lot of follow up the next day, and I mean, yeah,
you're following up, but
to do that because people forget, and and
hence why I say like networking. for me anyways, I found that networking was kind of like the worst place to be, because really a lot of people weren't even there. Like, I'm not saying they weren't there to network, but it was kind of like, give me a card. Nobody really want to talk to you. I've found it that, hence why I don't like using the word networking. I say friends. It's about making friends. You got to approach it like you're making a friend. I go by myself, but I don't go to networking events. I go to events or partake in events that I have an interest in, that I'm invested in. Because when you're invested in something, it's easy to talk to people on a common topic.
Yeah.
So I was a part of this. I got invited to this event. It was at Humber College, which, okay, I'm like, sure, I'll come. Looking for talent, and these individuals, kids, students, new grads representing their, they needed milestone, like they needed to do capstone projects, so they needed companies to take on that project. So Mina was her name, destination CEO. She invited me, but she also did a good job. Like, she'll kind of like made sure that people she invited there also talked to network with one another. But I just talked to like 3 people. That's it. But I had quality conversations with those 3-4 people that I still talk to today.
Mm-hmm.
Here and there. And I wouldn't say I remember their names, but I remember their faces, and we're linked on LinkedIn. So, you know, when I see them, I support their posts. And if I need something, I can reach out to them. But I haven't reached out saying, hey, I need something. Sometimes I reached out and say, hey, do you want to be a guest speaker at one of my live shows? But friends, when you approach networking from a friend's perspective, that you want to genuinely just make a friend, I think then that pressure's off. You're not sitting there focusing about getting a job. But the problem is, job seekers have always been taught about networking as to tap into the hidden job market, but then no one even knows how to network. This individual I was talking to last Friday, when I conducted a free job search coaching on Friday on Zoom, a coach, I don't think that person coaches anymore, but an ex-job job search coach told him to send out like 50 LinkedIn connection requests per day or something, and then message them, and then say, introduce yourself, and then ask them about what they do, what their role is, and then the punchline is your company hiring? And I'm like, no, that doesn't work. I go, did you find any success? He's like, no. I go, yeah, that's not networking. I go, but that's what a lot of people give advice on. Even employment centers tell you, or even if you Google, networking advice is just, when it comes to job search, is ask for information on interviews, interview them, get to know what their experience is, what the company does, new technology companies using them. But this is not networking. What's your advice on networking?
The best advice I ever got about networking was, as you were saying, look for a new friend, or instead of starting off a contact with what do you do or what's your business, try to find the common ground. So I went to it was an event for Small Business Week like years ago, and that's exactly what we were told. The guest speaker had us stand up, turn to the person to the right of us, and he said, "You all have 1 minute, find common ground," and we all did. And so just that experience alone is like, okay, you can throw out the standard questions and just resort to chit chat, and then people remember you much better. If they see you at another event, it's like, oh yeah, we take our cats to the same vet, instead of, oh, they tried to sell me something, where can I hide?
Yeah. It's always like that though. Like, I always tell people, hey, picture yourself like, you know, if someone's approaching you and they make everything about themselves and what they need, would you talk to them? Like, would you speak with them, right? Don't we all hide away from telemarketers and all that sales people too, right? So you're doing the same thing. Okay, so let's take some questions, guys. Once again, this is live Q&A. I do have a surprise guest, Paula, who is also career coach, transitioning career coach. So please take advantage of this session today with my friend Paula. Make sure you type in your questions below in the comment section. I will put them on the screen, and you will get not just my perspective, you always get Paula's perspective as well. So do you guys help with jobs too? Newport, good question. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct, actually. Good question. So a lot of people don't understand what job search / career coaches do. Paula, do you want to shed some light? And then I'll go after that.
Well, yeah, I help with the job search tactics. I have not recruited for anyone since 2002. So no, I don't actually do the job search for you because, hey, you wouldn't learn anything. But, my jumping ship package, that's my 2-month package where that's all about building and leveraging your network and figuring out who you need to talk to in order to tap the hidden market and find the ideal job you seek.
Yeah. So guys, career coaches, job search coaches, they're not there to do the work for you. They're not going to go and get you a job. We as career coaches or job search coaches, our job is to, first of all, get you unstuck, diagnose your problem, and then execute strategies to help you achieve your goals. So if your goal is, say, in my bootcamp, when I start the bootcamp, I always ask all my clients that are participating in that batch is, what's your goal? Like, when do you want to land a job by? And actually write the number. Is it 30 days? Is it 40 days? Is it 60 days? And then I make them write on a sticky note, and then I get them to put it where they're going to see it all the time. So if it's on the computer, you put it on the computer, or you make multiple of these sticky notes and you put it on your computer, you put it on your fridge, you put it in your bathroom mirror, everywhere, so that you keep the eye on the ball. And then that's your goal. That's you're working towards that. But as a coach, it's our job to help you achieve that goal. So we're going to tell you exactly what steps you need to take and how to execute them. A lot of people can learn. Learning isn't all of our ability, but execution isn't. I found that a lot of people struggle with execution, and it's also, there's no copy-paste solution. And guys, and I've seen this over and over in my bootcamp program when people are asking the questions, is there's no copy paste and magic that this is the solution and this is it. Just copy paste it and it's gonna work all the time like magic and charm. That's not the case. You gotta pivot each strategy as well, because you don't know how the other person is gonna respond, especially if it's like, imagine it's networking. Hey, there's multiple strategies on how to network with people, but that doesn't mean you take one and you copy paste and just keep sending it to everybody and think it's going to work on everybody. In the end of the day, we're human beings. We are all unique individuals, and we connect and navigate and talk to people on different things. Like I hate long messages. That's me. Don't DM me and send me a long message. I'm not reading it. I'll probably read the first line and I'll read the last line. And my first instant reaction is, wow, what a long message. I do type this out. Wow, what a long message. And I do a smiley face to humor it down that I'm laughing. So someone doesn't take it like, oh my God, she's being a bitch, but which I'm not. It's just to let the person know that, hey, listen, not everyone has the time and luxury to sit there and read long messages, especially if you're getting so many DMs. And if you're a career coach, you provide job search tips, and you're writing content, chances are your DM's full. HR people, recruiters, everyone's DMs are filled. But if you're sending a long message, see, you are messaging one person. You're not sitting there thinking, wait. How about if this person has hundreds of messages? Mm-hmm. Why would they read your message, right? If it's so long. I tell people, listen, there's a fine line. You can always go simple and just say, hi, how's it going? I read your post and this post, and this is why I'm contacting you. Yeah. Yes. I like it. I like it direct. I'm a black and white person, like especially on DMs. tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want. I don't need the whole background story, nothing like that, unless I'm recruiting, even when I'm recruiting. So I do recruit, guys, because my company, HR Superhero, we're an HR consulting company. We work with small, medium-sized organizations to support them on their HR needs. So yeah, I do recruit. But even when I'm recruiting, I have the same approach. I tell candidates to DM me, but it's also because I want to pre-screen them as they're DMing me. I don't want to read anyone's resume. Just let me ask you the question. Let's pre-screen. Let's have a conversation through the DMs. And then if the pre-screening matches, great. Then, hey, send me your resume. Then I can do a formal interview. But I do a quick, fast, like a pre-screen through the questions on DM. But yeah, DM, that's my approach. Now, Paula, if you wanted someone to, if someone's approaching you, how do you like to be approached?
A very brief message, hello, and get to the point of your question. Don't pitch me anything. And actually, when you're talking about long DMs, I immediately thought of, you know how on Medium, they'll actually tell you if it's a 2-minute read, a 10-minute read. So it's like, okay, the next time I get a long message, I think I'm going to.
I don't know how accurate that is, though.
Yeah. Was that?
I don't know how accurate that is, though. Like a minute read, 2 minutes read. I don't know.
It might not be accurate, but to reply in a message, oh, can you let me know if this is a 10-minute read or not? Might.
Oh, your head.
It's like, hello, and why should I give up 10 of my minutes? But
yeah.
I actually have an article on LinkedIn Pulse called How to Put HR to Sleep in 3 Easy Steps. And it's stay away from big blocks of text or break it up into headings, just make it scannable. So yeah, don't, if I get any kind of pitch that's a big long DM, especially, we all get that, accept a connection, and they immediately send you the sales pitch, often without your name as well. So it's like, delete and disconnect. So
I actually reply back to that. I reply back to all my DMs, but that doesn't mean but I'm being very honest, I do not read long essay messages. If someone's sending me a resume, same thing. My question back is, hi, thank you. Not quite sure why you're sending me the resume.
Yeah.
And then I ask them. Then it's like, oh, the best of, and I hate, this is where everyone goes wrong. Yes, I'm sending you a resume. If you know anyone that's hiring, please refer me. Or keep me in mind if you see a job posting. My reply back to them is, okay, just a question. I have over 25,000 connections on LinkedIn. If I do see a job posting that happens to match your skills, let's say, out of the 25,000 plus connections that I have, why would you pop into my mind? And then they sit there and it's like, oh, good question. Because I'm looking for a job. I go, but why would you pop into my mind? I've never met you. I don't know you. But I have 25,000 connections, probably more. And then I also have a follower base, which is 40,000 plus. For everybody that is on this LinkedIn, why would I remember you? And I'm like very honest with people. I'm like, I don't know every 20,000 person on my connection list. I don't, but people are, and then if they sit there, it's like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. But just do a good deed. And it's like, that's not how it works. And I like when people flip it back and say, do a good deed or just help somebody out. Giving is give back and all that. Great, guys, great. But the thing is, everybody has their own way of giving back. Everybody wants to do a good deed. But then again, if you want someone to remember you, then you should also invest the time to get to know the person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's really easy to send those DMs and say, hey, refer me to somebody. If you come across, my favorite is always, if you come across a job posting or in your network, someone that's looking for my set skill, let me know.
Yeah. But then just a random message like that, I'm always telling my clients, it's in each of your jobs, what has changed for the better as a result of your intervention? And in a random message, how would you get any sense of that in order to refer them? And
so I like this comment here. The best paid jobs are never advertised. I actually agree with this, and I always talk about this too. Like, first of all, 80% of jobs are in the hidden job market that never advertised, and a lot of these 80% are also jobs that can pay you a lot of money. If you know how to crack the hidden job market. If you're just sticking to online job searching, which 99% of job seekers, career professionals, when they're looking for a job, they only use one method, which is, let me just sit behind a computer, let's Google, let's look at all the job boards and what's available, and let's sit on LinkedIn and see also what's posted on LinkedIn's job board. And I always tell people, like, okay, first of all, it's 20%. Second, how many people are applying to that job? And what are your chances of landing the interview? And lastly, the pay. I'm not saying you can't land a great job even from a job board, but if you navigated the hidden job market, and in today's world, there's so many ways to access the hidden job market, even without networking, that you have a potential to make more money than, let's say, a job posting, because job postings are usually with the budget in mind. But when you tap into the hidden job market, they can create a position for you. Then they can know, okay, you're going to be valued at this much. Then they can maybe, like right now, like we're going to hit the last quarter, and then they're going to start budgeting for next year, and they can put you in the next year budget. You don't know. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with this comment. What are your thoughts, Paula, about best jobs, or this comment, the best paid jobs are never advertised?
Well, in that case, it usually is who they know, or they often have someone in mind already. Yeah.
Yeah.
People we know, like, and trust. And
okay, next question. Armand. Hi there. Thank you for your live presentation. I will start with this question to get things going, if you permit me. What is your opinion about a diversified background? Instead of focusing on specific skill or abilities, certifications, particular from the information technology field, generally speaking, would you consider to choose an employee without precise experience into this field, but with diversified learning path, or someone with a really precise skill? I do read that a lot. Okay, this is going to continue somewhere. Oh, I forgot to say thank you very much. Okay, so ... Just a question, guys, we're not hiring managers.
yeah.
Okay, we're not hiring managers, so it's not us looking for things. But I would just say, is my 2 cents on this, is guys, I can be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. You need to stop chasing certifications, degrees, and all that stuff.
The training trap.
Yeah, in the end of the day, we live in a world today that you can learn from anyone and anywhere. And to me, I think it's more about this, your brain. So I'm just going to pop this question back. It's more about this. This is what's unique. We all have this unique, I was going to say, machine in our heads. This is what makes us unique. This is what makes me unique from Paula, and all you guys that are watching. This is what makes Paula unique from me. Both of us here are going to have 2 different perspectives. We're going to have 2 different approaches, just like all of you guys. But our ability is unique. This is where the differentiation comes from. And as somebody that's been in HR for 15 plus years, plus an entrepreneur, plus come from an entrepreneur family, it isn't about education. It's about what you can deliver. What results can you get? What problems can you solve? What solutions can you provide? Because in the end of the day, it's all about the money. Every single company out there is in the business to make money. I don't care what anybody says. So it all comes down to money. The minute you make that switch in your head as a job seeker and start thinking about money, it's all about money. Who cares about your degrees and MBAs and all that stuff if you can't even generate money for a company?
Exactly.
I
I wrote
carry you on.
years ago called "Does Your Resume Show Them the Money?" And regardless of your skill, background, or certifications, in what way do you help the client or your employer bring in more money or more clients or more means to get more clients? Or in what way do you stop money or clients from going out the door? You spell it out in those terms. Use dollar signs as much as possible, or percentages. And that's what speaks to them.
It is. In the end of the day, it's all about the money, right? It's all about the money.
Yeah.
We fall under 2 categories. Some of us will fall into both. Some of us tippy-toe around the two. Some of us are just strictly in one. And I always, okay, these two, to me, there's two categories when it comes to money. You're either generating profits, revenues for a company, or you're cost saving. You're saving them money. So when you're saving them money, it means they're putting more money back into their pocket, right? So it's still generating money, but you're not generating, you're getting them to save and put more in their pocket. Two, this is where you fall in. Either you're in both, or maybe in one situation you generated money, maybe in one situation you cost saving. Me, I'm in HR, I'm always cost saving. I have my data. I have my figures. I have my dollar amounts. And guys, the minute I made that switch to entrepreneurs, when I started keeping data. As a job seeker, I never kept data. But as an entrepreneur, I was like, no, the only way I will get hired as a consultant is if I can show results, right? But I can't sit there and say, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. Yeah, so can every other consulting company out there. Why would they hire HR Superior? So can every other consulting out there can do it. There might be another consulting company that can do it cheaper than I can do it, right? So hence, I learned as an entrepreneur that it comes down to money, right? It's all about results you can get, but then you got to show them the dollar value. Okay, if you invest in me, our organization as your consulting partners, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to save you. Here's our data. Like we can save you $1 million in your recruitment process. We can save $1 million in turnover. We can save you this. And here's the data, like numbers we have saved for our clients. Guess what? In the end of the day, our services pay for itself, right?
Matches for lucky numbers.
I don't know why iPad is talking. Siri.
That's the conversation.
And then when I've learned all these in the last 7-8 years that I've been a full-time entrepreneur is when I did the switch and I'm like, oh my God, this is what job seekers should be doing. This is what I should have been doing when I was a job seeker. I could have been in a lot of high-paying jobs instead of being an undervalued HR person in a company where I was, the function itself was undervalued. So that's where I learned, and that's when as I started working with clients, I started keeping all my data. Okay, I started calculating data. Okay, this equaled this, and this is how much money I saved. So I'm constantly like collecting data, and this is what I teach as a coach too to my clients is you got to keep data. Fine, if you're in a job, start, guys, everybody who's listening, if you're in a job, start collecting data. It's like the best time to collect data is when you're actually working. When you're not working, it's going to get a little bit harder to have those dollar figures and percentages, but you can always round up. But you need to keep data. You need to tie it back to the money.
Yeah. And even pursue the people who actually have the data if it's not available to you immediately. And you have best access to that while you're still on the job.
Yeah. When you're still working.
Yeah.
Hi, Gurupi and Paula. What would you guys recommend as the best practice of writing a CV summary? Is it better in bullet points or a high-level summarized paragraph? Paula, what's your take?
I usually, the intro for a resume, 1 to 2 sentences as like the summary statement, and then go into bullet points. So like the first half page of the resume is the most valuable real estate. So that's where you want the bullet points of money you've brought in or money you've stopped going out the door, or customer service skills or that type of thing. So yeah, it brief statement, and don't say objective. That's outdated. But yeah, very brief sentence, experience, project manager, maybe mention what industries you've worked in, but and then go into the bullet points of what of your accomplishments or hard-hitting examples of your best skills. Okay.
So now this is where things, as I said, we're both going to have different perspectives. So this is where the different perspectives coming in now.
3 different resume writers you get.
Yeah, exactly. But I like having people come on my show to show the different perspective, because I was just going to say, in the end of the day, it isn't about the right presentation. It isn't about having a bullet or not having a bullet, or just doing a summary and not have bullets, or do a summary and then mix it up with bullets. In the end of the day, like, I may like it differently. You may like it differently. you teach it differently. I teach it differently. I tell people, don't get hung up on the style. You can, that's like interchangeable, but yeah, it should be like a little summary, bullet summary, because naturally we navigate
the human eye. Yeah.
Yeah, the human eye scans it like that. I believe that, as you said, I don't believe in objectives. I don't believe in profile summaries. I believe in value proposition statement. Just like businesses have a value proposition statement, you should have a value proposition statement. What value are you bringing to the table? And guess what, guys? It isn't your experience. It isn't your skills. It's the results you can get them. Why should a company hire you? And if they hire you, how are they going to benefit from you? So as Paula said, show the money, right? I like what you said earlier, how someone said, does your resume spell out money?
Does it show them the money? Yeah.
Show them the money. Oh, it's such, does it show them the money? Does it show? I like that. Actually, that's perfect. That's what your resume from start to finish should be talking about. Like, you got to spell out the money. And dollar figures, percentages, these are great things to add on your resume, even from the starting. Like, I've generated $1 million in sales. If you're a salesperson, if you're a salesperson, then it's all about sales. How many sales have you gotten for the company that generated X amount of money?
Do you know how many sales clients I've had who don't know their numbers? The easiest thing to quantify. Flabbergasts me every time.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
Track your numbers. Keep track of your money.
Yeah. Okay. One good way to network or to make connections, contact friends, is to join user groups or meet up business groups or join online business forums or volunteer nonprofit. Okay. But this is all business group. Okay. So great advice.
Yep.
I do like Meetup. I wouldn't just say just business. I would say Meetup. I love Meetup. I love Meetup for multiple reasons. The best reason I like it because the variety. Mm-hmm. You get professional, you get personal. You can join groups based on personal interest. You can join groups based on learning. Were you interested in learning? You can join groups on, if you're an entrepreneur, you can join all these different business groups.
Everything on there.
Yeah, but there's like everything. Like, the sky's the limit. And I always tell people, when I'm talking about Meetup, I always say, hey guys, sky's the limit, and think outside the box. Don't narrow yourself into a box and say, okay, I'm a job seeker, so I want to network with people in my profession, so I'm just going to attend those type of events. I'm like, you don't know where and how a door can open, so just go based on what you like. If you're going to use Meetup, then you should mix it up with personal, because it's the best way to connect with people is on a common ground, right? If you like yoga, go to a yoga thing. If you like meditation, join a meditation group. If a mom, join a mom's group. If you like reading, join a reading group. Like, just the sky's the limit.
Something creative as well, because that's when the best come to you, and unexpected connections. So don't be rigid and just be job seeker groups only, or
an interview scenario. How do you explain 4 months gap due to COVID situation in a company where they restructure and laid off an employee? Paul, any advice there?
You say you do know it's 2020. You do know what happened in those 4 months, eh?
It's
not everyone was working. Not everyone was able to.
I would say you just write this. Got restructured out.
Exactly. Furloughed due to COVID, or even
the best thing,
had to deal with a family member.
Everybody knows 2020. See, I was telling someone, messaged me today about the gap, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a gap.
Yeah.
Is gap recoverable? So I like this question because I found it kind of disrespectful when companies overlook candidates just because someone has a gap, and it's like has become this big taboo, this big bad wolf. And I was like, oh, you're a bad person that you took a gap in your career. And I feel like over the years, this is probably starting to create so much anxiety for people, and even like mental health. Like, now someone, even let's say for health reasons, that's take a gap, and they're stressing out because, oh my God, I take a gap and then there's a gap on my resume. How am I going to get rehired? Like, we're aiding to people's anxiety and mental health. And to me, it's like, when did taking time off for whatever reason has become a bad thing?
Mm-hmm.
And we're punishing people without realizing, companies or hiring managers, oh yeah, this person's a gap. Yeah, so what? So what? Like, what's the big deal? I don't understand it. I never overlooked a candidate because they had a gap. I had gaps in my resume.
Oh yeah.
For times I got sick. I was supposed to start a new job. I remember back in 2006, I was supposed to start a new job, and I got really sick, and I couldn't go to my first day. It turned out I was sick for 2 months. I had it's kind of like a very bad virus thing, so I ended up becoming so weak. I lost so much weight. But yeah, okay. Luckily, my situation's different. I lived at home. I didn't have any bills to pay, so fine, I can afford this 2 months, right? So now 2 months plus whatever other months I was off. Oh yeah, I was off since like November because I went to India for 2 months, came back. I was supposed to start a job, but then I got sick. So now I have like, let's go with 6 months. Okay, maybe I have a gap for 6 months. It didn't stop me from looking for a job. I just continued looking. But I never forget that when I landed in HR, I never overlooked a candidate. I always pictured myself, yeah, there's various reasons why someone can have a gap. Maybe you're taking care of a sick parent. Maybe you got sick, right? But now everybody is going into this panic mode, and I found it very disturbing when someone's reaching out to me and they're so panicking. Not disturbing that they're panicking, just the fact that we have created this culture unknowingly that gaps are bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Happily, it's getting better, but I mean, I think it was the paranoia was even more, say, 20 years ago. We're at a stage now where there's a little more flexibility, but yeah. In these things, then.
Yeah. I always when I'm coaching people, I say, first step, own it.
Yeah.
Second, be very proud of it.
Yeah.
Because if you are not proud of your gap and you're not confident in it, it's going to show. So the other person then will see it as a negative and they're going to overlook you. But you got to own your gap. You got to be proud of the time you took off and the gap you have, whatever reason it is. Just own it and be proud of it. And also look at the journey. Whatever that journey, those months is a journey. Each day is a journey. We learn. Each day we learn something. And reflect back on where you were 4 months prior to the gap to after the gap to where you are today. I'm pretty sure you're a different person. You probably learned different things. You have different perspective on things. It could be multiple things, but just look at everything that gap brought to you that maybe you didn't have time to do if you were still working.
And after that, if the hiring manager still has a problem with that, it's a great way to screen out the jerks. And it's like, yeah, dodge the bullet.
And then I also say, yeah, if they have a problem with it, then that's a company you don't want to work for. Because in the end of the day, we're human beings.
Yeah.
Do you have a system for blitzskilling? What is that? Don't know.
A clue.
Sorry, not sure who you are, but
out of HR for a long time. That one, I don't know.
I don't know what that system is. Not sure what the question is. Interviews now. How do you explain? Okay, we already covered this. Thank you. Okay, so guys, last chance. I was only going to do it for 30 minutes, but it's 8:45, which is fine because Paula is the special surprise guest. Guys, here's the last chance. I know there's a little bit of delay from LinkedIn to StreamYard to LinkedIn. So if you have any questions, please write it below. We'll do our ending remarks now, and if by the time we're done, if there's no questions popping in, then we will conclude our session. Your ending remarks, Paula. If you wanted to give one or two piece of advice that people can leave today, or anybody that's watching this in a replay, what would it be?
Remember that companies are still hiring and companies are still doing business. So you ask yourself, where are they? You don't despair. Don't just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, and just say, okay, where is the money moving? And I need to be there.
Okay, great. That's Marco saying blitz scaling is a process to higher growth scenarios. Never heard of it.
Me either.
This is an interesting question. Blitz scaling is a process to higher growth scenarios. I don't know what blitz scaling is. Now I'm going to have to go Google this.
But I see it everywhere. But
I was going to say, what's the difference? Hiring is hiring. Growth, I'm pretty sure every company is in the growth mode. Otherwise, they wouldn't be hiring. And what makes a company so special that they need to have a special process for high growth scenarios? I don't really understand this. Don't know. Sorry. Thank you for your response. What do you think is the challenge for students who are applying for co-op positions? Great question. What is the challenge? Paula, have you worked with new grads?
A bit with new grads, not recently though. And I sadly, I don't know the stats on co-op positions currently or what they're.
Well, with COVID, a lot of the internships got paused or just declined.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of students lost their co-op positions. And, what do you think the challenge of students are? The challenge for students I found is not knowing how to present themselves. A lot of people get too caught up in GPAs. Let me list my GPA and think, my high GPA would get me an internship. It's not about your GPA, just your GPA. Me personally, I didn't even care for school and I didn't even care for my GPA because I'm not a numbers person, but I'm very hands-on and I know my capabilities. Maybe at that time I didn't know my capabilities, but I know what my capabilities are now. I don't think you should get caught up in GPA, but as a student, here's the best advice I can give you. I have worked with many, many students. I've hired interns for my dad's business, for my business. I've worked with students. I've managed students. I've coached students. And I can tell you, even I've hired for entry-level roles for different clients. I found the biggest gap is communication skills, not knowing how to communicate. 2, just making it all about grades, and didn't really get involved in the actual university or college experience, getting involved in clubs, getting involved in nowadays, my nephew went to University of Guelph. Nowadays, the schools are doing so much. He was part of this program. He got picked. He got selected, and the school was working with startups. Giving them resources to help startups. So this was 4, 5, 6 people. Only 5 or 6 people got picked to be in it. You had to get selected to be in this program in the university, and then you get to work with small startups and small little businesses to help with them, whatever it was. And my nephew got picked first round, and then the second one he became a team lead, and he had the most amazing experience in that 1 year.
Wow.
And it was from the program, it was a school club or something, right? Another student, I remember interviewing her for one of my clients. Oh my God, she did so much. She was a president in part of one of her clubs. She was also part of some student association, all these activities outside of school.
Yeah.
But inside school, but outside of the classes. And I think I have found it, I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, I didn't do all this stuff when I was in university, and thank God, because back then you got a BCom, you're great, right? It wasn't high level competition the way students, I feel really bad for students. There's just too much expectations from new grads now.
Yeah. And I guess the biggest plus for being involved in all those activities is the candidates who really put themselves ahead of the game are the ones that can answer this question really well and say, what do people come to you for advice about? Or what do you notice that you're really good at that maybe your peers need help with? And a student who's more involved in all those associations would have a better perspective on that. And like, okay, I was in school for this, but in all of my volunteer stuff or student activities, people came to me for advice about this thing. And so it gives them another way to toot their own horn and say, okay, I can solve this problem as well. And
so some companies use AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, but here's my 2 cents on artificial intelligence. Just like any technology out there, doesn't mean. See, I don't agree with using fancy gadgets to help you recruit. I believe. I use this as an example. Like, look at the like NBA, any of those professional sports league. They don't use any systems. They don't use they don't use AI. They don't use an applicant tracking system. They have talent scouts that go out to high schools and go look for those rare diamonds, those rare talent, and scout them out and be like, hey, we want you. And then they pick you. And if you get scouted out, they put you on this special training and all that stuff, right? And last year I was thinking about this so much, especially when Toronto Raptors made it to the finals and then they won the championship. And I'm like, now all these people playing basketball, if these organizations had applicant tracking systems, AI, would anybody discover these rare people that are now NBA players and making millions of dollars? So this is a multi-million, billion probably. I don't know my stats because I'm not a sports follower, but sports is a $1 million, probably like $1 billion industry, and they don't even use these systems. They have scouts that go and find those rare talents that they can recruit. But yet, multi-million dollar companies are using applicant tracking system, which I found it that all you're doing is just, you're missing out on the rare talent. And then I wrote a post on this. Then we have this buzzword, top talent. Now, what makes top, I call it the buzzword, the trend, top talent, top talent, top talent, top talent. Now, what the heck is top talent to you? It's an individual perspective. But meanwhile, we built this top talent trend, and everybody thinks top talent is you have a fancy degree from Ivy schools, MBAs, and this and this and this, right? So it's all a materialistic thing. It's all materialistic. But if you strip all those materialistic things, what consists of top talent? To me, for me, I don't think it's about top talent. I think it's about finding the right talent for your organization. And if you're small, like I work small, medium-sized companies, I tell them top talent is just a trendy buzzword. Forget that. Let's look at the nitty-gritty. What's your goal? What's your business goals? Where do you want to be from 5 years from now? Where do you want to be in 2 months from now? Where do you want your business to be in a year? Or what are you struggling with right now that you want it just like the headache to go away? Let's focus on that. Forget top talent. Like fancy degrees, to me, I'm not somebody that overlooks candidates because they don't have an MBA. Mm-hmm. I've never done that. Because I'm not somebody that believe, like me personally, maybe this is where my thinking comes from, because I believe I'm very smart, but I don't have an MBA. I would love to go get an MBA one day, but I'm not somebody that can sit down and study for GMAT. Not my thing. I would never do it. I would never get the MBA for that reason. But I've learned so much. In today's day and age, I don't think we need to go get MBA. I'm also against the institutions, because by the time you graduate from these programs, they're outdated. We live in such a fast-paced world that by the time you spend all this money getting these degrees in MBAs, MBA's 2 years program or a year program, that's a year too late.
Yeah. I get a lot of clients saying, oh, should I take this particular program? And it's like in these uncertain times, you get everything down to brass tacks. You say, what do I really need to know now? And where is the best place for me to learn that? And then even question, do I need to know this, or can I outsource this? Or is there another way I can acquire the knowledge. Because yeah, I advise them of that too. Is like, you don't want to spend 4 years in a program only to find out all the jobs have dried up while you were studying.
Yeah, jobs don't wait for you.
Mhm.
And again, like I've never liked the word top talent, because again, I believe one point top talent meant something, but people just blowing it out of the waters. It's just become a trend word. It's like a buzzword. And it's just depending on what the company believes top talent is. Some companies believe top talent is you graduating from an Ivy League school, from a top-notch university. Like maybe not college. I remember this one company that said they don't hire college students at all. And I was like taken back. I'm like, so someone couldn't afford university, but they could afford college. Now you just rule them out? And what's there not to see that somebody, again, because they can afford university, that's why they went to college. But what if they were the top talent, but you just ruled them out because you're looking at, oh, college? No, they're not smart. Like literally said that we found that students from college is a big difference from university and college. I'm like, yeah, but you also need to understand that there might be a reason that somebody didn't go to university. But this was like a big company. No, we only hire degrees. So hence I don't like the word top talent, because people have just made it materialistic and you're just ruling out such great talent. How is the hiring system becoming challenged for new grads during or post-pandemic? It's not. What to do to get the first job without having an experience? First of all, I want to address something. A lot of people think pandemic has like ruined their chances of landing a job. I disagree with that. Just because you don't see a job posting doesn't mean, oh my God, pandemic. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. Maybe, yes, your challenge, the challenge is there. It's increased the challenge for you because there's more people looking for a job. Guys, don't forget there are jobs there. There's tons of jobs available even this moment. But the thing is, if you're gonna sit behind the computer and look for a job, yeah, you're gonna struggle. Even before COVID, people were not landing jobs until like 6 to 12 months. That was an average time it took people to land a job because just applying to jobs online. When you're applying to jobs online, you got to deal with technology like ATS, applicant tracking system. You also have to, guys, new technology has been introduced into the mix, which is AI. You have all these technology gadgets are being used and which are creating a barrier for you, not for me as an HR person. Is making my life easier, but it is creating a barrier for you because now the systems are scanning for what we tell it to scan for, just because you have all these incoming resumes. But that doesn't mean that you need to get screened out. Bypass these systems, bypass HR, go straight to the hiring manager. My biggest tip, I'm going to leave, it's almost 9. I'm going to end this session. I know there's 2 more questions down there. But my biggest advice that I want to share, and I'm going to leave you guys with this, is you don't need to chase any job. I don't even like the word. I have starting to dislike the word job seeker. You're not a seeker. You're a problem solver. You are a solution provider, and you get companies' results. But when you start labeling yourself as a job seeker, that's exactly what you're doing. You're just seeking. You're pretty much being at a mercy at a company, and you're like begging for a job. Instead, start using this platform that all single one of you guys are on, which is a very powerful platform, LinkedIn, but every one of you are underutilizing this platform because nobody knows how to use this platform to their full advantage. Start building your brand as an individual. Gotta start building your name so people know who you are, what you can do for them. You're on this platform, guys. You're on this platform that you don't even need to chase anybody. Companies should be chasing you. Companies can come to you. Jobs can come to you. But you have a choice. You can be a job seeker and continue to chase after companies and jobs, or you can ditch it and say, no, I'm going to create awareness that exists. I'm going to build my brand. I have a target audience in mind that you're targeting, and I'm going to have people come to me. That legitimately can happen.
Yeah. So instead of saying, I'm looking for work, please send me job postings and nothing else in your update, you say, available for my next project or what have you, and I'm really good at A, B, C, or people come to me for advice about A, B, C. And that immediately tells your impact. And any employers can say, oh, we need that person. We have that problem.
Any advice on how to develop skills and get experience for someone who wants to be a recruiter or talent acquisition specialist? Great question. Don't have the time to get into this because don't know who you are. And this kind of is not an easy answer because it also depends on your background. But I'm just going to say, why do you want to be a recruiter and why do you want to be a talent acquisition? First, let's identify the why.
Mm-hmm.
Paula?
Exactly. Yeah. What's drawing you to it? Do you just see it as a way to make money, or are you in, say, a part-time job through school where you've had to do some recruiting and hiring, or say talent scouting, or what have you? What is it that's drawing you to the field? What do you think you're going to get out of it? And what aspects of that are you already doing in either your everyday life or in your current job?
I like this question. I do want to answer this question because I know it's directed to me. How do you search, or you too, Paula? How do you search your 25 contact base? Very easy. It's called keywords. Entering them in the search engine of LinkedIn. Hence why your LinkedIn profile should be SEO friendly. Very simple. It's like any search tool. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you, Paula, for hopping on.
Thank you.
I was gonna tell you, like, hey, just 30 minutes, but usually with a guest, it always goes over the 30-minute mark. But thank you for tuning in. How can people reach out to you?
Well, they can find me on LinkedIn. My summary has my Calendly link if they want to book a chat, or my email is resume@paulacowan.com.
Perfect. Okay, guys, so thank you for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow probably. I'll let you know what time. I'm planning to do these job search Q&A more frequently. Also, I dropped a new job search bundle kit. It has about 7 classes, from resume, cover letter, tapping into the job market, LinkedIn profile, to if you're a newcomer, there's a bonus for that. There's like 7 different classes that I've put together because I know a lot of people have been reaching out to me, but then you can't afford my bootcamp program. So technically, I sell these classes individually for $50. It's Thanksgiving. I want to help as many people I can. So I just put all 7 classes, my top 7 classes together that will really, really help anybody that is looking for a job, struggling in the job search, just ready to jump onto a next role. You can get the bundle. Message me if you're interested. You can go on the website and get it as well. So just reach out to me directly. But thank you for tuning in. I'll be back probably tomorrow. I don't know what time, so I'll let you guys know on the time slots. You can come back to this Q&A, ask me as many questions as you want. So thank you once again for tuning in, and wish you guys all the best in your job search, and hopefully you land a job soon. Thank you. Bye. Good night.